everybody. Welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News, the show that may or may not be 5 minutes. Today in the news, one of the biggest things that YouTubers like myself deal with quite often is knowing information and just having to sit on it for a while. A lot of the time we'll go to events and we'll be told a thing or two, or we'll see some things, and due to an NDA or a friend DA, we just don't talk about it. And that's part of the job. You just don't mention a lot of things you see until you are allowed, based on the time you were given, to talk about it. But one of the things that's been happening more and more over the last few years is that it seems pretty obvious that a lot of people just don't care. And like clockwork, we'll go to an event, we'll see a thing that is super duper top secret, and within hours, someone will have leaked the whole thing. It happens all the time. And while I think many believe that they're doing it for the people and they're trying to get the information out there, that kind of thing, really it seems to be more about clout and being the first one to release the information, and you like, oh, I beat the big news people and I got views and that kind of thing. And it seems one such leaker, the Twitter account The Real Insider, was in fact actually just run by a YouTuber, Dan Allen Gaming. The account convinced many in the scene that it was the real deal after accurately teasing which new Assassin's Creed games would be revealed at Ubisoft's 2022 gaming showcase. But instead of being an employee or someone with the inside knowledge, it was just someone like me, a normal YouTuber who went to an event and then just released the information immediately that they were told. On Kotaku, they mention there's a difference between when a journalist uncovers information they consider to be of public interest and presents it to the world, and when a person agrees to an embargo or NDA and the company shares information under the assumption that the details won't be disclosed until a specified date and time. And that brings up two big things here. One, you signed an NDA, there was a breach of trust that occurred. They trusted you with this information, you agreed you wouldn't share it, and then when you share it, you're breaking that trust, and it just looks bad. Not just for you, but for all of us, because two, spoiler on this one, games media, games journalism in general, still look at YouTubers as kind of like those guys. For the most part, and I've confirmed this many times, games journalists don't really see us on their level. In fact, many companies don't see YouTubers as being on the same level of a games journalist. It doesn't matter how many views you have, they have sort of a history of cred, and we just have ourselves. And when you do stupid shit like reveal things you signed an NDA for, all you're doing is proving the companies and the games journalists correct, and that YouTubers maybe can't be trusted. And it looks bad on all of us, and just cut that shit out, right? We're all trying to work in the same industry. Let's be a little more adult about it. In other news, one of the stories I wanted to cover this week, but we only barely managed to touch on, was PlayStation VR games not being compatible with PlayStation VR 2. I couldn't understand it. I was trying to figure it out. I have all these PlayStation VR games that I love, like Moss 1 and 2, and you're telling me I can't play them if I were to buy a PSVR 2, which is what I want to buy. So why is that? Well, according to Forbes, Sony had this to say on the issue. PlayStation VR games are not compatible with PlayStation VR 2 because PlayStation VR 2 is designed to be a truly next-generation virtual reality experience. PlayStation VR 2 has much more advanced features like an all-new controller with haptic feedback and adaptive triggers, as I've said, and inside-out tracking in it. 3D audio is coming together, 4K HDR of course, so this means that making games for PlayStation VR 2 requires a whole different approach than the original PlayStation VR. These features actually enable developers to create worlds that feel more vivid and alive and bring players closer to the experience than ever. I believe that. Now, if you're like me and you heard all that, all you really heard was a bunch of buzzwords and excuses. There is no reason that I can't still play a PSVR game on a PSVR 2 if you just say like it's not going to look as good or maybe it won't play as well, but you can still do it. Honestly, it doesn't make a lot of sense because if you cut the PSVR library out, which is, it's not that big to begin with, and then say, all right, here's PSVR 2. At launch, what do you have, like 3 games? And how many PSVR games come out a year? Not many. Yeah, the best I can think of is they're going to make you rebuy older games that are updated, but it still doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know why they're doing it, except for like corporate greed, which sucks. I don't want to think that about you, Sony. I would rather buy a PSVR and enjoy it than be like, should I buy this? What am I really getting if I get this thing? Why you like this? Why you do this? Speaking of why you do this, thank you to all of you for keeping a lookout for these videos. I don't really tweet them. I'm trying to not spam everyone on Twitter all the time. It's nice to see that there's sort of a built-in audience and that you show up for this, and that means a lot to me. Really, it does. So thank you. I'm not going to advertise nothing today. I'm not going to promote nothing. Just want to say thank you to all of you who show up every video and just help support this wacky news program that I do. And I'm excited to keep doing it, and hopefully you're excited to keep showing up for it. It seriously, this has been a lot of fun, and I'm thankful this is something I get to do. So thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News.